That way as well, like, yeah, got a nice little machine happening.
Yeah, so this is cool.
Yeah.
It's new.
So this is our brand new one. We kind of find it hard, you're measuring just weight as a pure measure. So we're like, we need something else that we can measure in our population. So
it's really important, isn't it? Because, for so long, everything's sort of been based on weight.
And then you have like, I don't know, like we'll do yours, but you have a look and you get someone's number and it says battling with obesity. You're sitting in the high BMI range. And then you sit there and look at their muscle, but you're like, but look at what your muscle is. So it's a good measure to have.
I wish I had it when I was starting out. I've never actually had a body composition scan done. So it'd be interesting to see how the muscle is affected sort of before surgery and then.
So it's good for all our patients that are coming through now. They all get an initial scan and then we try and keep them going with them to just kind of monitor. We'll set you up and then we'll do it. All right, you're just going to take shoes and socks off. Let me just create a patient.
I wore clean socks.
Surname Verner.
Yep.
Beautiful. Date of birth and Damien or Damo. What do you want for your name?
Damo.
And do you have an email address?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So get you on the scale. So first measurement we do height and weight. So just put your feet on the 2 spots there and stand up tall because it is doing your height at the same time. So the next measurement, stay there. Put your feet across to the next 2 spots. On the handle here, split your finger into 2. Yeah, like that. Beautiful. Just take about 20 seconds. Submit it across to me.
It's like facing the firing squad.
All right, you can jump off. Now, would you also be happy with me doing a waist measurement?
Sure.
All right. So typically, I do it from kind of the narrowest part.
Yep.
So I'm just going to get you to hold it there, and then I'm going to just kind of move around you. Thank you. Keep whipping people with this, sorry. All right. Add this in, and then we'll go through the result.
There's a lot more being done with the waist circumference, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It makes it hard as a measure because everyone does it a little bit differently depending on where you're choosing. Even like variability, if you're doing different people doing the measurements makes a change. But it's good to have that as a measurement. Like I even had a patient today and she's like, my weight hasn't moved. But then she's done body measurements and she's like, I've lost 20 centimeters around my waist, my hips, And I'm just like, they're the measurements we need to see. In regards to like physical activity levels, work-wise, would you say there's a few different drop downs? We've got very light, kind of desk-based, light, more kind of sedentary kind of role.
Light.
And then at kind of physical activity at leisure.
Light.
Now, if you do come back to do a scan, I put you on the top handrail bar as well. So it's just for your height. You're sitting on the second one. So you always want to do the same measurement. Alrighty. So now I'm just going to pull these up. So we've got a whole bunch of different measurements we look at. Now, this one here looks at kind of muscle mass and our fat mass over time. So this column here is kind of your fat mass, and this one here is your muscle mass. What we really want to do is we really want to build our muscle mass, so we're kind of building that way, while we're seeing kind of our overall fat mass trending down. The more muscle we have, we'll see our fat mass trending down at the same time. So with our patient group, we're typically seeing we lose a lot of muscle. It's very normal. It's part of the journey. It does happen. So we want to do everything we can to kind of push that up. One of the common things we'll see is the benefit of these scans now is that we're not just relying on weight trending down, we're looking at those trends. So if we start seeing someone's weight trending down, but their muscle mass is also trending down, like moving across, that's when we're kind of going to have that discussion. So it does test waist BMI, and we do track kind of waist circumference, but I don't put too much kind of emphasis on those because we're looking at the other markers and parameters there. So muscle mass wise, now we're sitting about 29.9 kilos. 27%. So it's actually overall not too bad in regards to muscle mass. Sometimes it is sitting a little bit on the lower end, but what this shows is you against a population of people at your age, your gender. So we do want to still see that muscle kind of still improving and building. The more muscle we have, the more metabolically active we are. So we really want to work on building that up. This beautiful one here kind of shows you muscle mass in your different kind of areas of the body. So your left and your right arm are quite similar in regards to muscle mass. Same with the legs. The right leg's a little bit stronger than the left leg with 6.29, 5.73.
Yes, I have neuropathy in my left leg.
Yeah, 100%. So then when you're kind of like looking at doing programs, you can kind of use this to kind of base where you want to build on those areas. So that is just another measure of skeletal muscle mass. Like I said, overall, we're still doing quite well. And that looks at muscle mass in regards to our arms and our legs. So definitely an area we want to kind of continue to build, but still looking quite good. I do like this measure, skeletal muscle mass over age. As we lose muscle, so as we get older, we're going to lose muscle, just part of the journey. What we're finding though is that if we're starting at a lower muscle mass, we're losing kind of at that faster rate. So we want to kind of build you above that kind of 50th percentile to have the muscle mass at a higher level. So as it is trending down, we're still kind of, maintaining as much as we can. And then we've got our fat mass percentage. Like I said, as we build the muscle up, we will see that kind of trend down as well. And we've got fluid-wise a little bit higher for you as well. Have you gone bathroom too? So that might also be throwing some of the markers off a little bit as well. So sometimes extra fluid on board can also impact these levels. Have you ever battled with like fluid on board, like in your legs or anything, like fluid retention? Yeah, so that could also, and this is the benefit, you get to kind of see it. There's so many things can influence muscle and fat mass based on hydration status, fluid on board in regards to our kind of retaining as well.
And I've just started some new medications. Can that affect?
100% depending on what medication, but medication can impact that as well. Yeah, so you get a nice kind of idea of kind of where things are. And the benefit is if, you're monitoring this from the beginning of your journey, or even if it is in between the journey, it's still a nice way to monitor where we're going. Because then it can kind of show, okay, you know what, an area that I really want to focus on is really building that muscle, because we're going to be losing muscle as we go. But muscle is that metabolically active tissue that we want to kind of maintain.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great measure to have rather than just basing everything on a simple number.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Because like you said, we can get so caught up in just the numbers on a scale, which doesn't really tell us anything.
And that's the thing, like I was saying to you earlier, like I had the patients that I've had, and sometimes that number doesn't move. And everyone gets really caught up, but then you look at the centimetres changing or jumping on a body composition scan, you get to see those changes and it just shows how much is happening.
I mean, my BMI before I had surgery was over 60, and to see it down sort of where it is now, even though it's still in that higher range, I'm like, that's so cool, because it was so much for.
And you've seen that nice kind of trend downwards and seeing those changes, and I guess that's why we kind of thought just having weight and BMI is still a great measure, but sometimes it's a very challenging measure to sometimes see changes for some patients as well, but all of that just lets you see even more of what's happening. So then be able to kind of show the importance of where exercise comes in as well in building muscle as well.
So how often would, if you had a patient come in, have weight loss surgery, how often would they have?
Yeah. So what we're doing at the moment is in their initial appointment with the dietitian, we're doing a complimentary body composition scan. We then do another complimentary one at 1 month post-op. And then we try and encourage patients to continue to do them kind of every 3 to 6 months just to kind of monitor it, because we're losing quite a bit of muscle, especially in those first 12 months. So if we can get on top of it earlier, that will be our main goal.
And I guess when people have their 3 monthly blood tests as well, then that opens up a whole other.
So you get to kind of monitor so many different parameters of what's going on with that person.
It's amazing. I love it. With how far it's come in on 11 years, coming up to 12 years post-op, and this was just sort of more science fiction.
Yeah.
Back then, and to see it actually working now is incredible.
Yeah, and that's it. It's just, and they're like, we looked at so many different scales as well, and, we're trying to find the one that's best for our population group as well, and, it's quite validated as